Hi guys, today we are learning about unit rates. We see unit rates in the real world every day. Some common ones we may see are speed limit signs, telling us how fast we're allowed to drive. So this would be read as 65 miles per hour. We also see unit rates when telling time. There are 60 minutes in 1 hour. When we go to the doctor's office, nurses will find our heart rate. So our heart rate could be 70 beats per minute. And when we fill up our car with gas, there is a specific dollar amount we pay per gallon. So here we see it's $2.50 per gallon. Unit rates are a rate in which the second quantity is 1 unit. For example, we could pay $2.75 for 1 carton of milk. The carton of milk is 1 unit. To find the unit rate, just as we divide fractions to make it a decimal, we would divide the numerator by the denominator. We can use unit rates to find the better buy in the real world. So for example, at Costco, 10 cans of Sprite would cost $5, and at CVS, 5 cans of Sprite costs $2. We would want to find the better deal, so we will find the unit rate. We will put the dollar amount on top and the amount of cans on the bottom of our fraction. So for Costco, it costs $5 for 10 cans. And at CVS, it costs $2 for 5 cans. So if we were to divide the numerator by the denominator, we would find the unit rate that it costs for just 1 can. So we'll put our top dog in the house. 10 cannot go into 5, so I'll need to add the decimal point and my 0. 10 can go into 50 5 times exactly. And when we subtract, we get 0 left over. So to make this into a dollar amount, we would need to add a hundredths place, so we could add on a 0 at the end. So the cost per can at Costco is 50 cents. When we divide our numerator by our denominator for CVS, we'll put our top dog in the house. 5 cannot go into 2, so we'll add our decimal point and a 0 and bring our decimal point straight up. 5 can go into 20 4 times. 5 times 4 is 20, and when we subtract, we get 0. Again, to turn this into a full dollar amount, we would need to add a hundredths place for the cents. So the cost per can at CVS is 40 cents. So which one would be the better deal? Well, CVS, it costs less per can, 10 cents less per can, so CVS is a better deal. Now we will solve some guided practice problems together. A quick note, whenever we see units of time, we will always place those in the denominator. In problem number 1, it says Ed drives from Jefferson to Holden, a distance of 250 miles. If it takes him 5 hours to complete the entire trip, how fast is he traveling if he is traveling at a constant speed? So we will find the unit rate. Our unit of time is 5 hours. So we are going to place hours in the denominator. And our distance is 250 miles. Our unit is miles, and that will go in our numerator. Notice how I am writing the fraction with my units first, and then I'm writing it with my numbers associated with those units. To make sure that I am writing it the way that I should be writing it, I am lining it up with miles to hours, 250 to 5. Next, we can find our unit rate by dividing our numerator by our denominator. We have 250 inside the house and 5 our denominator outside the house. 5 cannot go into 2, but it can go into 25 5 times. 5 times 5 is 25, and when we subtract, we get 0. Since I still have a 0 left, instead of bringing it down and realizing that 5 goes into 0 0 times, I'm just going to bring that 0 straight up. So our unit rate is 50 miles per hour. Ed can travel 50 miles per hour at a constant speed. Our second question says, a skydiver falls 144 feet in 3 seconds. How far does the skydiver fall per second? So if we are going to use our unit of time in our denominator, it would be feet per second. So the skydiver falls 144 feet in 3 seconds. If we divide the two numbers, we would figure out how many feet the skydiver falls in just 1 second. So we'll set up our division problem. 3 cannot go into 1, but it can go into 14 4 times. 3 times 4 is 12. We subtract and we get 2 left over. We'll bring down the 4. 3 can go into 24 8 times. 3 times 8 is 24. So our unit rate is 48 feet per second. In question number 3, we see a pump moves 42 gallons in 7 minutes. Find the unit rate. Again, I see minutes. That's a unit of time, so I would want to make sure that unit is in my denominator. So when I'm setting up my unit fraction, I'm going to write minutes down below, and then gallons would be in my numerator. So gallons per minute. So I see 42 gallons in 7 minutes, If we divide the two, we'll find our unit rate. So we'll set up our division problem. 7 cannot go into 4, but it can go into 42 6 times. 7 times 6 is 42 exactly. So our unit rate is 6 gallons per minute. And question number 4 says, you score 84 points in 6 games. How much do you score per game? Here we don't see a unit of time, but in our question it says, how much do you score per game? So our unit fraction would be points per game. "84 points are scored in 6 total games. So if we were to divide those two numbers, we would find our unit rate. So we'll set up our division problem. 6 can go into 8 one time. 6 times 1 is 6. And when we subtract, we get 2 left over. We'll bring down our 4. 6 can go into 24 4 times. And when we subtract, we get a remainder of 0. So our unit rate is 14 points are scored per game. So just like when we see units of time, we place those in the denominator. When we see units of money, we will place those in the numerator. So on question number 3, we see 1 bag of pretzels cost $3. 5 bags of pretzels cost $10. Which has the lower unit price? So we need to set up 2 unit fractions to figure out which one has the lower unit price. So we see dollars. So we're going to make sure that's a unit of money. We're going to put that in our numerator. Over bags of pretzels, that will go in our denominator. So we've written our unit fraction. So 1 bag of pretzels cost $3 and 5 bags of pretzels cost $10. The 1 bag of pretzel for $3 is already a unit rate because the second quantity is 1. So it costs $3 per bag. If we were going to find the unit rate for our second fraction, we would put our top dog in the house. 5 can go into 10 2 times. 5 times 2 is 10. And when we subtract, we get 0. So this would cost $2 per bag of pretzels. So $2 per bag is our lower price. So this is the lowest unit rate. And that would be our answer. Question 4 says it costs $3.99 for 25 fluid ounces of detergent, or $6.99 for 90 fluid ounces. Which is a better buy? So whenever it asks us which is a better buy, it's wanting us to compare and to find the unit cost. So we see dollars, so we want to make sure that's in our numerator, and it's dollars per fluid ounce of detergent. So it costs $3.99 for 25 fluid ounces of detergent, and it costs $6.99 for 90 fluid ounces of detergent. We will find the unit price for both of these amounts and find the lowest price per fluid ounce, and that would be the better buy. So we'll set up our division problems. $25 cannot go into 3, but it can go into 39 one time. When we subtract, we would get 14. We'll bring down our 9. 25 can go into 149 5 times. 25 times 5 is 125. When we subtract, we would get 24 as our remainder. And then I would want to add a 0 and bring it down, because with money, we always want to go to the third place value after the decimal point to see if our hundredths place needs to be rounded up or not. So we'll bring down a 0. 25 can go into 240 9 times. 25 times 9 is 225. So because we see a 9 in the thousandths place value, we would want to round up our hundredths place value to a 6. So our unit rate would be 16 cents per fluid ounce. So we'll set up our other division problem. $90 cannot go into 6. It also cannot go into 69, but it can go into 699 7 times. 90 times 7 is 630. When we subtract, we would get 69 left over. And again, I would want to make sure that I go at least to the thousandths place to see if I would need to round up my hundredths place for my dollar amount. So I'm going to add a 0 to my dividend and bring it down. 90 can go into 690 7 times. 9 times 7 is 630. And we're left over with 60. So because I see a 7 in the thousandths place, I would need to round up my hundredths place to an 8. So our unit rate is 8 cents per fluid ounce. So 8 cents per fluid ounce is a lot cheaper than 16 cents per fluid ounce. So 8 cents per fluid ounce would be the better buy. Now you will complete 2 independent practices on your own. The first is a quizzes. You will need to take a screenshot of your score when you are finished and submit it to the Schoology assignment. And then you will complete a facing math picture with ratios, equivalent ratios, and unit rates.